Scaffolding helps bridge the gap between what ELL and MLL students already know and grade level content they're learning in English. The teacher should remove language barriers to content acquisition. Scaffolding provides the structured support they need to access content, develop language skills, and build confidence while gaining independence in their learning. To reduce the language barrier to content learning, allow the use of technology in a limited way. AI generative software and translation pens could be used with the intention of phasing these out over time. To reduce cognitive overload and make learning more equitable for ELL students, try to make learning more manageable. Checklists and rubrics help students stay focused on the task without getting overwhelmed by the language. Tasks should be very clearly explained. Students might be allowed to bring their notes or glossary to exams if it can help make up for any language disadvantage they might have. To help build independence, students should engage in interactive activities like think, pair, share, or group discussion with roles such as summarizer, clarifier, and so on. Students could first be paired with peers who share the same language, or be given a role that requires less communication at the beginning, and later they can move towards more responsible roles. GRR, the gradual release of responsibility, helps develop proficiency and confidence. Tasks are broken into manageable steps, and guided practice allows the teacher to focus on students that need help. One of the key goals of effective teaching is to create a low anxiety learning environment. A critical part of this is making students feel comfortable and valued in the classroom. It's good practice to incorporate familiar elements into instruction to make learning more accessible and meaningful. This includes drawing on the student's cultural background. This could be done by promoting cultural exchange activities where the students can introduce national holiday in their country or a foreign word or phrase of the day. This also supports language production. If the teacher can speak the student's first language or is prepared to do some research, using the student's L1 strategically to translate some academic words or to explain some grammatical concepts can be an advantage. The teacher can highlight cognates, which are words that are similar in L1 and L2, incorporating bilingual materials and resources, allowing students to use books in L1 to study grade level content, and perhaps allowing students to brainstorm, discuss, or make notes in L1 before transitioning to English later. The teacher should draw upon the student's existing prior knowledge, which aids reception and production of the language by letting the student operate within familiar topics. Students should be allowed to collaborate with peers in their class who share the same first language, or if learning in an EFL context, perhaps some of their group work and organizational activities could be carried out in L1, which reduces the workload of trying to self-manage and produce language at the same time. In order to teach academic vocabulary and content, specific word instruction is an equitable approach that benefits all learners. In a mixed classroom of native English speakers and ELL students, I would apply the following strategies to teach new vocabulary. Be selective and intentional to choose words that are useful and support comprehension of academic content. You could introduce 8 to 10 words per week, for example, focusing on high utility academic vocabulary which is relevant across multiple subjects. It's important to be clear when giving definitions along with student-friendly explanations. You can use visual aids such as anchor images, diagrams, or other graphics which help to illustrate meaning. And check for understanding using concept checking questions or CCQs, and encourage students to use what they've learned in meaningful contexts. New words and concepts should be connected to the student's existing knowledge. It's a good idea to explore possible links with other subjects by communicating with other subject teachers to support the learning of subject-specific vocabulary. Students should be encouraged to engage in deep vocabulary study, including exploring different word forms, synonyms, antonyms, and perhaps learning about root words. Model the use of academic language during instruction. It's important to ensure that new words are pre-taught before being integrated into content learning and revisited during and after exposure through reading, listening, or interaction with other students. For abstract or complex concepts, graphic organizers like the Freire model can be used to help students get a better understanding for new vocabulary. And this can be done in collaborative groups. And of course, students should be regularly encouraged to produce using the new vocabulary they have learned, both in speaking and writing. Production is the most important thing here.